It's time for another Dice Tower review with Zee Garcia.
Hey folks, today I'm taking a look at a simple Euro game called Samara or something like that. And in this game you are using your little workers to move ahead on a time track, jumping really as far ahead as you want to, time-wise, to acquire some tools or build some building or things like that. So, is the game any good? I already told you it's a fairly simple design. Does it remain interesting even though it is a fairly straightforward affair? Let me show you how the game works and then I'll tell you what I think of it. And I just realized that man only has 4 fingers on his hand. So here's what the game might look like, set up in this case for 3 players, yellow, green, and red. And these tiles, these buildings have been randomly placed out, and the little tool symbols here, the little cardboard chits, have been randomized in specific places as well. Each player is giving a player board, which explains some of the buildings out here, and has places for you to hold your tools as well. And so, I'm just going to put this to the side for now, not worry about that too much. The objective of the game is to have the most victory points, and on your turn, you are going to grab some workers and spend some time either grabbing a building or grabbing a tool, typically. In this case, whoever is closest in the current month, whoever is closest to the top is the start player. And so I could take this token here, this character, and I can move them as far forward as I want to, and then depending on the strength, in this case it's a single meeple, so just this row, which is strength 1, this is 2, 3 people, a group of 4, then that'll let me do something at that level. So the simplest thing for right now, I can take this character, I can jump up here to January, and I can grab this building here, because across the bottom there is nothing, so no requirements, and it'll be worth 1 victory point to me at the end of the game, so I'll grab that, and I'll throw it on my little player board here, face down. And now it is green's turn, because this is where we're at, and it's the farthest one back, closest one up again. This player is going to jump here, and they are going to grab this tool. And some tools, as you'll be able to spot, are needed for some different buildings. Okay, so they're going to grab this, they're going to put it on their little player sheet as well. So that's on green. After that we have red, and now red here has 1 character, then they go again with a strength 2 character. It's 2 pawns together, but it counts as 1 person, strength 2. Now something else every player can do on their turn is they can combine multiple people to take a single action, okay? And so red could move this player alone, this person, or they can move both of these together as a strength 3 group of people. So let's say they go here to January and they take everybody with them. They can come all the way up here to this building, and they would leave the tools behind, but they would get that building there and score it, okay? Now it is green's turn. They are going to, let's say, jump up here and get this tool. And then yellow is going to, they're going to go here and grab this tool and put it over here on their player sheet. Now that month is empty, we shift all this until we get to the first occupied month. And then if one board is empty, we move it to the front of the other one, and so on. These players are now going to, again, continue taking turns, grabbing tools, grabbing buildings. There's a couple of other options you can take on your turn, and they are as follows. You can add a new worker, or you can take a vacation. To add a new worker, you take one of the current, in the current month, the character has to be that you are using has to be a female character, which you can tell because they look slightly different. They don't have the little cut between the legs there, so I'm assuming she's wearing a skirt. And then you are going to take that pawn and you are going to move it to the absolute last possible month. So you jump it all the way to the end, and then you take another pawn in your color, and you add it on as another pawn, another character. You do not strengthen that one. It's a brand new pawn. The other option is you can take a vacation. Let's assume these people have already gone. I just want to shift this up. Alright, let's say we are here. Green can, instead of taking an action with this pawn, they can take a vacation, which quite simply means they're going to jump ahead to the next place where they have characters so that they can later take a stronger action. And again, this would shift. It's now yellows. They can jump up here. They can grab this tile. 4 victory points, no requirements. That's a good one. And then besides all of this, there are, of course, some of the tiles across the top do different things. Like you can have the weight room, which is going to let you spend an extra month and make somebody bigger. So, for instance, if this takes the weight room, then I can jump up and add 1 pawn to that, and it's still 1 character at strength 3. And there's a few that make you give up the tools, etc., etc. I'm not going to go into any of them, but that's basically it. You continue doing this until the board is pretty much empty, and once that happens, you check all the tiles you've got, you add up your victory points, and whoever's got the most victory points is the winner of the game. So there you have it. As you can see, pretty straightforward. The main complications come in with the building powers, which I did not go into very much, but trust me when I say they're pretty straightforward buildings. I like the game well enough. I've enjoyed my plays of it. My main complaint of this game is that it's a little fiddly. I don't like that the tools are these tiny little squares that go on top of the other slightly bigger squares, and they're fiddly to deal with. But even a bigger issue than that is the characters themselves. A stronger character means multiple pawns pushed together on the track. And if you play with a larger group of players, which is fine, and this scales well, then character pawns will literally drop off the edge of that calendar board because there are so many, and it's fiddly to grab all. This guy has a strength 4. It's 1 guy, but it's 4 meeples together, and I wish there had been a more elegant way to deal with that. I suspect there could have been, but you know, it's not a huge deal, but it makes the game a little more fiddly than I'd like. The game itself has a nice clean look to it, works well, plays in a nice length of time, gives you some neat tactics, not a whole ton of strategy here. You're not looking ahead more than a couple of turns probably, but good tactics, and I like the puzzly aspect of that. Oh, I'm going to take this guy, I'm going to jump ahead to 2 months, grab this tool, then this other character is going to take a vacation, meet up with them, and then together they're going to jump ahead to here, and with that tool I'm going to jump way up here, grab that building that needed that tool and required all that strength, that sort of thing. And so I like that stuff. It's not revolutionary, it doesn't blow my mind, but it's a very pleasant game, and it just has a real nice cadence to it. So if this is the sort of game you're looking for, a nice mid-weight Euro, really clean, cute graphics, and that clever time mechanism, then I recommend you check this one out. That's Samara.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Samara, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.